Ryan, go for the intro.
Okay. All right. League, welcome to the latest edition of Gotham City Batman's panel discussion. This time it's the semifinals. We got a couple great matchups for you. We got yours truly going up against the Green Machine in a championship rematch from last season. The Green Machine, they came with that number one seed. The Bread got in at number 5 in their rematch in the semis. And we also got an amazing matchup. I would say the marquee matchup of the week. We have the 3-time defending champion Beasts going into the Hall of Justice to face the playoff newcomers. Heroes Dynasty deserves first time in the playoffs, guys. This matchup is going to be a banger. And we're very excited to have this panel moderated by the honorable and esteemed franchise of excellence, the Vegas Koalas. And stick around as this stream goes on because we might even have a couple surprise guests.
Love it. Love it. So before we bust into the actual matchups, I got a few softballs to throw to you. For all 4 of you, I'm going to go in order. I'll call on you to answer. Just on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being terrible, 10 being awesome. How do you think this season went overall, Leo? Not just for you, but the whole league.
Actually, kind of how I expected. Early on, I saw 6 teams kind of separate, and that's who made the playoffs. And then so I think that's it wasn't like no real big surprises, except for that Brendan didn't get a bunch of injuries, because that always happens, and that's the only surprise. And then my own personal team is about where I thought it would be good enough to get here, and we'll see what happens.
Ryan, what do you think?
I'd have to give this season 9 loaves of bread out of 10.
Yep.
And that's just because it's unfinished so far. I mean, I'm sure we'll get that 10th loaf coming up soon. But just so many amazing storylines. I mean, you have the Mun Dynasty starting off incredibly hot. I mean, getting all that hype preseason and then just melting down epically, somehow making the playoffs. But then, of course, we all knew it was going to happen.
Did they? I don't even know. Were they in? I don't remember.
I heard, that's what I heard, but
Not
I just
quietly.
want to check the tape. We have great storylines. 3 Boydocks making the playoffs yet again. We have the Heroes, of course, coming through in the big time. So, and of course, I mean, the biggest storyline of the season was, yours truly getting his 100th regular season win and 10th straight playoff appearance. So I consider that a great season.
That's fair. We'll get ugly in a minute. Alex, how about the season overall for everybody?
I think it was a solid season as well. We had definitely a 8 out of 10. We had a lot of activity with some trades throughout the season.
Oh,
People
excuse me.
bolstering
We'll get to that,
rosters.
but yes, we'll get to the word trade soon.
Yep. People bolstering rosters and kind of making their playoff runs, and like my dad mentioned, it 6 teams separated at the beginning, and those were the 6 standing at the end. Shenmue gave people a little bit of hope for Austin, both of the Austins to try and make the playoffs, and then you had kind of your bottom feeders kind of just rotating amongst each other, and every now and then surprising one of the playoff teams. But
Right. Okay, I've heard an 8, a 9, and a 9. Brendan, if you don't say 10, something's wrong.
on mute. You're on mute.
As far as my personal team goes, obviously a 10. Doesn't get
Yep.
much better than that. 11-3 on a W8 right now, because even if you count my bye week there, I would have beat everybody last week. So I consider that a W8 right now. So it doesn't get much better than that, to be honest with you. If we had another week or 2 of the season, I'd probably get the 1 seed the way it's going. So I like where my team's at. As far as the league goes, I think it depends on if you like parity or if you like trades, because this year, different from previous years, like we've all said, there's been 6 teams that have completely separated themselves. And because of that, the action was flying immediately with these 6 teams bolstering their roster. Whereas in years past, it's kind of been maybe 1, maybe 2 teams that have separated, and then just a giant pack from like 3 to 10, where we don't really know what's going to happen, and it kind of freezes the trade market a little bit. and then you have two teams selling off. So it's kind of a different dynamic this year. I still think it was a great season. Hard to top it. I'll give it a 9.5 again because it's not over yet.
And in my opinion, I would say a 10, only because I think the best four teams are on the screen right now. I think the best four teams have made it, in all honesty. So that's cool to me. I'm going to throw you guys another curveball. I know you guys want to start ripping into one another, but not yet. Not yet. Right now, I want you to look ahead to the rookie draft. Let's skip ahead a few months. If you had the number 1 overall pick, who would you take? Quick and easy answer. Who would you take? Ryan, go ahead.
Well, I mean, you opened the question up as a hypothetical, but last time I checked, I have a lottery pick. I have like 8 balls in the lottery, so chances are I am gonna have.
I've got like 700 balls in the lottery, so who would you pick if you got it, even though you're not?
Well, the commish is, the picker, so I think my balls might be a little sticky.
Wow, sticky balls.
Sticking to the bottom. That's right. We're not pulling them out.
Come February, but the thing is, my team has absolutely no needs. It's well rounded, so I could really take whoever I want. Maybe I'll take that tight end, Bowers, potentially.
Okay, let's mute him. Alex, what do you got? If you had the number 1 pick,
He had a awful season, but I wonder if it's just like, I mean, we'll have to see what happens in the NFL draft, but I feel like Caleb Williams still might be the pick just from a talent and possibly depending on where he lands.
Yep.
We'll see, but
Leo, how about you?
Well, the beasts are in need of another quarterback. So I would take QB1, and again, we'd see what combine and draft position and where everybody went to figure that out. But it would be quarterback 1 for the beasts if I had 1 overall.
Brendan?
Yeah, before I answer that, I think it's funny to point out that 3 people on this screen
are the 3 that might get the number 1. Yes.
Which is just insane. Thank you to Scott, Cody, and everybody else in the league for making this happen. Thank you very much.
Yeah, jackasses. I had to lose 50 games, unlike you two.
So
but anyway,
whose
I'm
pick
thinking
does Alex have?
His own.
No, it's Ryan has Scott's, right?
Yeah.
And Brendan has Cody's.
3, I got you. So gotcha. Go ahead, Brendan.
Yeah. I think it's probably going to be the QB1 or the wide receiver 1. If I'm lucky enough to get the lottery ball drawn, I don't think anything else makes sense. That's either going to be Caleb Williams or Drake May. Flip a coin right now. I guess it'll probably be Caleb, but if Marvin Harrison Jr. ends up in a fantastic spot, I don't know how you say no.
New England.
Fair enough.
Okay. Well, you made it easy. You made it easy to say no. Any wide receiver that goes to New England is cursed, so I'm staying far away.
Okay. Ryan, I'm going to start with you. You were awfully nice in your first little monologue there to everybody, but I mean, I don't want to prompt you on what to say or talk about, but you do have an incredible winning record in our league history, and you also have an amazing way of demolishing the Boydock Mafia's hopes. Any comment on that?
Yeah, let me just 1 second for you guys. Get a little something to show. Boydocks, I have a question. Does this look familiar right here?
Oh, jeez.
From last year, because my floor is looking a little dirty. That's right. Last year, this baby came in handy because I went into the playoffs, 3 Boydocks, knocked them all down into a Boydock sweep. And by the looks of it, I think we might be due for round 2 of Boydock sweep. We started off hot last week against the Creamers, and we got the green machine, and I have to expect that the beasts will come out on top next week. So I think we're gonna get that second Boydock sweep in a row. I don't know what it is. I don't know why it's so easy to beat the Boydocks in the playoffs as of recently, but I guess it's just my playoff experience mainly and just coming through in the clutch. So yeah, I think that's all there is to say. I'm
going to cut you off rudely again. So all of you get used to that, by the way. if you should beat the Green Machine this week, do you think it would be like one of your best wins ever, even though half of his team, in fact, 3 of his 4 best players, may not even play as of tonight?
Yeah, I mean, all right, being honest, this is going to be probably a pretty ugly matchup as both my team and the Green Machine are down some players. Where it's going to be Scrappy, who's in those flex spots more than likely, and it's going to be an ugly win. I think whoever gets it. I don't think it's going to be a historic win for my franchise. This is one of those gritty games. It's like a cold, snowy December game where if one team's going to win like 5-3, that's what's going to happen this week. So I just have faith that my team's going to come out on top based on history and just the experience.
So, Alex, going to you, would it not be sweet after all the nonsense you just heard overall, plus the fact you've got a pretty injured team, to finally beat him this year? Would it not feel amazing?
I mean, it'd feel pretty good. I have to remind him that win streak does have an asterisk on it because, I mean, it just as the committee pointed out last year and voted on it. But yeah, I'd love that, and I'm glad I got it done in the regular season. But it'd be great to beat Ryan. I just really hope I'm up like about 85 come Sunday night for that, or Monday night for the Niners game, because that's probably what I'll need. With McCaffrey carrying his team like he has this year.
So you're calling him a one-man team this year, is what you're really trying to say?
No, I mean he's had like maybe one other guy do something every other week, but that's pretty much it. A 2-man show.
Yeah, well, it kind of has to be that way because not all of us can, make a trade for Trevor Lawrence or for Tyreek Hill and just get Trevor Lawrence for free. So, some of us have to just win with the guys that, we've had for a while.
No doubt. No doubt. Yeah, I had to trade away a top 5 running back in the process. So it was tough and a possible top 5 pick. So we'll see.
Okay. Brendan, did you swallow?
Yeah.
Okay, you good to talk even after listening to all that?
I almost choked, but yeah.
Yeah, so did the rest of us. How do you feel about trades overall, Brendan, this year so far? Like what you saw, do you think they were fair trades?
So every trade that I have made so far, yes. I gave up a decent amount of assets for Cooper Kupp, including my first rounder next year. I think you're going to get a good player out of that. So Kupp sold. I think it was a good trade. You look at Alvin Kamara. I think at the time it was a reasonable value, 2026 first, for a guy that we didn't know what was going to happen come week 4. And then traded for Evan Ingram. It's tight end. So I think all the trades that I've made this year have been fantastic. But when you look at this freaking Tyreek Hill trade, man, I was going back and forth with Cody on that trade for probably at least 3 weeks trying to get something done. At one point in time, this man tries to get Anthony Richardson off me and is asking for an arm and a leg for this quarterback. And then come, 1 week later, I see him just giving away Trevor Lawrence for pennies on the dollar to get Kirk Cousins. And I'm like, what the hell is happening in this league? I'm pretty sure the Boydock Mafia was holding Cody at gunpoint to make that trade happen. And clearly it worked. And I feel like that's going to be a trade that he regrets for a long time because I don't know how Rachaad White's going to help him for the next 2 seasons while he rebuilds.
So Alex,
quick question.
question.
About the same price? Yeah,
Brock
is that about
Purdy.
the same price you got Brock Purdy for?
That's what I was going to say.
I mean,
hey,
Jesus Christ,
to be fair, over the summer, it was a little bit different of a story.
Yeah,
than
and now he's a top 5 dynasty quarterback.
Hey, I think that's just good vision on my part. It takes a lot to give up on a quarterback you drafted 3rd overall.
I think it's the other way. I think you're looking at the dynasty champions.
All right, I'm going to cut you both off, Mr. Leo Boydock. I get a vibe from you. You had an amazing year again. The key word is again. You have an amazing year every year, it seems like. Normally, people put money on you to win the whole thing. But this year, I'm getting a weird vibe from you. I don't feel you have the confidence in your team you normally have. What do you think?
Well, that my team is getting old, and so I'm just riding it out. Derrick Henry, Austin Eckler, Devontae Adams are seeing their final days as a beast because I can't afford them no more. So
Whoa.
I just had to take it and ride it as far as I can, but they're not the young whippersnappers that they once were.
Can
And,
can I petition to change your stadium's nickname to the nursing home?
I know. Well, so but what am I gonna do? I just got to ride it out as long as I can. And so yeah, it makes sense that it's kind of, I can't. I had to go with it and take it as far as I could, and here I am in the Final Four. So
Right.
I just got to
But,
keep going.
but specifically for this
But-
year in the Final Four, on a scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you that you're going to get a win this week?
Oh, well, I mean, the numbers don't lie. I mean, you look at what's going on. I beat Brendan 8 weeks ago, and I probably wouldn't have beaten him since. And so it's got to, my percentages are pretty low, unfortunately.
Give us a number, like a 5 on confidence.
On confidence, yeah. I mean, I would like to think it's a 50-50 thing, but I know it's less. So I would say 40 or 30%.
Brendan,
let me
right
say-
back to you.
Let me
Right
say a
back to
couple
you, Brendan, on a scale of 1 to 10.
1 to 10. I'm a 1. I'm not confident at all.
What?
On beating the beast? Oh,
I'm not
boy.
putting any bad energy into this chat.
Somebody's
come on,
turned
say
over a
10
new
out of
leaf
10.
tonight.
I got to say something though. A couple of things. One thing I want to say about the earlier conversations is first on the trades. Ryan didn't really complain about Alex's trade, but Brendan did. But I want to say that never have I had the DCs just hand me a player and say, "Here, he's a good player. Just take him and enjoy." So you guys have nothing to complain about. And so Alex getting a freebie from Cody. And one thing that Cody did, and one thing that I couldn't work a deal on with Cody, is because he wants a new quarterback and he wanted a low draft pick, and that's why he was trading. He wouldn't trade with me because I'm never going to have a low draft pick. So Alex gave up Austin's draft pick. So that was really, I think, the big winner in that whole deal.
I need to interject real quick.
Yeah.
You can't say that when you were basically Shinmu was your farm team in 2017.
Shinmu, I gave him AJ Brown and different players like that. He got good guys back. So, and anyways. Yeah, okay, that might happen. That might happen. So one more thing is this whole Ryan sweeping thing. It pisses me off, and I'm really pissed at the Creamers team for not beating a team that put up 123 points in the goddamn playoffs, and he wins. That really ticked me off. Now, I didn't do much better, but it was better than 123. You got to beat a team that has 123. So I'm mad at the Creamers. And as far as the rest of the league, if they're like, "Oh, Burn, Boydocks keep losing to Ryan," here's something you'll never hear. "Oh, I beat the DCs in the playoffs. Oh, I beat Mike Vick in a box in the playoffs." They are never there. So you can't beat them. So Ryan will never sweep you guys because you can't get swept if you don't get there. Anyways, that's it.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Yo.
Cody, welcome.
iPhone 15.
What's going on, gentlemen?
We have a surprise guest. Look who it is.
I didn't mean to
Not
interrupt.
in the
I'm not
playoffs.
interrupting anything, am I?
We're looking at an engaged man.
Yes.
In his house.
Yeah. Ring me. This is the only time I get to say that.
Yes, sir. But you were
All
just actually brought up in conversation not too long ago. Maybe the Koalas can set you up with a nice
So
little,
we've been discussing like the heads-up matchups coming up in the Final Four and also how the year went overall. But Cody, a few trades were brought up. maybe a Brock Purdy trade, maybe a Trevor Lawrence, Tyreek Hill trade. What is your opinion on all of the trades, not just yours, but all of them this year? Any comments?
Yeah, I'll start with my trade. There were a lot of discussions with a lot of owners. It really came down to who. Well, first off, I'm not in the lottery, right? I've got one of the worst teams in the league, and Brendan has my pick. So you know that's a bummer. So it really came down to who could get me into the lottery. And Alex offered up the best pick, Austin's pick, and I was feeling really good about that until he finished strong. So you know, I felt pretty good about it. Though Rashad White looks like a guy. And then in terms of Brock Purdy, I you know, he's just elite, right? That's what everyone's saying. He's just elite. You know, he's got 5 Hall of Fame weapons or whatever. But I don't know. I can't get behind Brock Purdy personally. But he just keeps winning. Like the guy's like never lost when his team's fully healthy. So
Right.
how can I argue with it?
Let me make a quick counterpoint. Let me make a quick counterpoint. This is more about NFL, but if you say that, I'm not going to totally disagree with you, but look at Tua's weapons. Look at Brock's weapons. Brock is looking at an MVP. Tua isn't. Why is that? Based on your argument.
Yeah, I mean, I think the record. Well, they both have similar records, but yeah, it's a valid point. I think when you look at Miami, you know, if you take Tyreek Hill out of that offense, and I know he's been banged up, right? And they went and put it on the Jets. But I don't know. I just think that first off, the MVP voting is so flawed anyway, and the whole concept of it. You know, the fact that you know, when it comes to the Dolphins, I think Tyreek Hill just gets so much attention and kind of can take away some of Tua's accomplishments. You know, it does feel like it's such a team award, though, at the end of the day, right? It's just, quarterback for the team who finishes with the best record wins it. I don't know. It's to me, I think Tyreek should win it. I really do. I think he should win it. He's going to come up just shy. Well, I guess he could still get to 2,000, right? If he's healthy and plays out the rest of the year, he definitely could. Yeah, Al needs that. Al would be fine with that. But yeah, it's a valid point, right? I mean, Tua and Brock Purdy kind of similar offenses, similar setups. And one guy is running away with the all the discussion, and the other guy just is kind of there.
Right. Ryan, do you got anything to add?
Can I set up a new topic?
Yeah,
real quick, because while we have Cody here, of course, you know, guys, this is the semifinals week, but as we know, next week is the big week, right? It's the championship week. So not only will we have the championship game, not only will we have the third place game, but we will also be having a game known as the Great Toilet Bowl. And we do happen to have both participants of the Toilet Bowl in chat today. So what I just want to ask both of you guys, I mean, start with the Koalas is, I mean, how's the prep going with the waffles? Are you practicing? How's your training going with waffle eating at the big house?
Cody, if you don't mind, I'll go first on this one because I've dropped a few pounds recently because I kind of get the feeling I'm going to be adding a few pounds in a few weeks. So I'm more than ready. I'm more than happy. Marvin Harrison, I'll eat all the waffles you guys want as long as I get Marvin, is all I'm going to say.
Cody, what are your thoughts on the toilet bowl coming up?
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is, right? I'm a sturdy gentleman. Waffles have never been a factor, and It might have been Brendan the other day who said, "Yeah, I'll eat as many waffles as I need to get like a Caleb Williams or something." And
Yes,
you know,
that's true. I
it's
agree.
a valid point, right? I mean, it's you know what, and it's such a kind and giving league that I know you would all join me in a St. Louis suburb, and you'd all eat a waffle or two, you know, and you take some time off for the losers. So, you know what, it's if that's what it takes, so be it.
Is that official confirmation that the Misfits, if they do lose the toilet bowl, will be making the drive across the Mississippi to eat their waffles in St. Louis?
Yes, simply because I think it's the closest Waffle House to Peoria. We don't have any of those luxuries. So yeah, I will make the long drive. You know, I said all year, oh, I'm gonna get down there for a weekend, and things got a little busier this year than I anticipated. But you know, there is that part of me that's man, I don't want my first appearance for, you know, a couple folks to be over a punishment.
Fair enough. And then Koala is just another, toilet bowl question. Well, I mean, what are your thoughts on this potential growing of a Hornung Waffle House streak that might be
I
starting?
tell you what, man.
Oh, there
I
you
mean,
go.
if I happen to lose the toilet bowl, they might be like putting our names on a table permanently at one of these places. I know. You know,
The
all I can
hor-
tell you is this one year this might happen to me. It was worth it, is all I'm going to say.
you can be known as the Hornug Wafflia.
Yes. Keep the broom handy, Ryan.
How many what's the over under on waffles for each of you guys? How many waffles you can take down?
I'll say at once, you're saying? Like immediately?
Yeah,
10?
let's go. What's your max capacity if you in
10.
one sitting?
Right away, I'll knock out 10.
Jeez,
How many?
10.
Cody, what about you?
I think in terms of in first off, my plan is I'm gonna milk it, right? If I gotta be there, I might as well be there. I'm not gonna make myself uncomfortable. You know, I'll just, you know, I'll bring my cell phone, I'll bring the laptop. You know, I'm a big believer in if you know, you end up losing that punishment, you know, you got to make it as public as possible. You know, enjoy it. Go on your Facebook or Twitter and say, well, I suck at fantasy football, and here's what I'm doing today, and you know, have a little fun with it. So I would definitely pace myself. I've seen this punishment in person a few times, and everyone goes in with the confidence right away. Right, I'm going to down as many as possible, but then you're miserable, and then you're still sitting there. So I'd rather just sit there and you know, and be happy about it. So you know, my game plan is to eat a few at a time, relax a little bit, and then eat a few more and relax a little bit. So you know, I'm pretty confident that if I lose, I'm just gonna enjoy my day. I'll you know, chat with the locals, get a sense of what's going on. You know, why did the Cardinals commit all this money to you know, 3 pitchers over the age of 30 something? So you know,
So
looking
Cody,
like
I'm
the
curious
looking like the beast.
if I happen to get lucky, Cody, and beat you in this toilet bowl, is this something that you would make public to your fans, like over the mic, over the air, like the next season? Would you
oh
tell
yeah,
people about this?
100%, because
Nice.
it's we've got a you know, it'll be perfect for that 8-0 game in the 7th inning when I've run out of things to say.
Yep.
You know, I kind of, you know, or if somebody you know, if an umpire maybe waffles back and forth over a call, there you go. There's your
We caught
setup.
that. We caught that.
Yeah, speaking of waffles, I know a thing or two.
Okay, let's get back on track. Cody, I'm going to stick with you for a minute, buddy. I
Yeah.
want you to pick a winner in both of these games.
Yep,
So,
let's do it.
Mr. Beast versus Heroes. Who do you got?
I like you know, I think I put a pretty good jab in at Team Heroes the other day in the chat. But they've got a lot going on, and I was on the wrong side of a 200-point effort from them. I think they find a way to win, but I am serious about the Bills defense there. I think that could be a real problem going up against the Chargers on a Saturday night there. Easton Stick
Right.
quarterbacking. Boy, I could see that sneaking up in the playoffs, right? When you got two teams that are pretty loaded. You get a big night from a defense and a special teams, and that can really change the tide a little bit. So I'll say Heroes win, but yeah, I do think there's a couple of interesting matchups that Mr. B has that maybe he can exploit.
I have to get this in to add on to what you're saying about the Buffalo game. Eckler might be out. Herbert is out. Williams is out. Allen is probably going to be out. You know who their best player is? Quentin Johnston, Shinwoo. So yeah, I agree with you. All right.
No,
Cody.
he's not. Josh Palmer is their best player.
Well, we agree. We agree.
If Palmer comes back, yeah.
Yeah.
And then the other game, Cody, who do you got? Rye bread?
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go rye bread. I think just health, right? Alex has got his eggs in the basket of a Tyreek Hill, a Jalen Hurts. Maybe trending the wrong direction a little bit. Trevor Lawrence, he's not going to play, right? He's in protocol. So Alex is a little bit behind the eight ball. Jonathan Taylor's been banged up too, right? I mean, he's got a long list.
Really?
You don't say, huh? So
Dumb. That's not too bad.
yeah, take that thing up and get back out there. But yeah, I think it's going to be a rye bread and a Heroes championship. And I think there will be a lot of banter in the chat about that in the coming week. And if past history shows anything, it'll probably be very painful for Heroes. They'll probably jump out to a huge lead, only to have some sort of Sunday night or Monday night miracle sink them at the end. So there's my prediction. I think Rye Bread wins it all in stunningly painful fashion for the Heroes. Just based on 10 years of frustration, it looks like he's finally going to get over the hump. A loaded team, and it loses it. The clock strikes midnight on that run at the end there.
So Cody, now I really have to ask you. I thought I was the only one rooting for the Rye Bread against the Krispies. Were you actually rooting for Rye also, it sounds like?
No, I was not, but I think there's something to be said. A guy who's won 3-4 titles in 10 years. There it is. I mean, he knows how to win big games. He's going to have a great message for his team going into a championship game. Talk about how they've been doubted all year long, even though no one's really doubted them. He'll find a way to spin the narrative and get his guys fired up. What does Saban always say? The rat poison. He's going to feed him a bunch of rat poison before the game and get them all riled up. Yeah, and there's always that small jealousy, right? Like Heroes has my pick that could be number one.
No, it'll be number two, but go ahead.
Well, yeah, it could, but I don't want Heroes to win the league and then get the number one pick, right? I mean, that guy would be just raking it in at that point. So yeah, he's like, yeah, give me more. Look, fair, man.
All right. Leo, you've heard a lot of smack. What do you got?
So I'll start with my game. I got my one shot is everybody plays their season best. So they just load up on these 20-point nights. Brendan's team is in that zone right now. As Dwight Schrute would say, he's in Perfectenschlag. And he is going to put up points. Now, 2 years ago, I had that same thing happening. I was just rolling and rolling and rolling. and I went to the finals and I played Patrick and I put up 191, which is normal. And freaking Patrick puts up 197 or 198. And that, dragged me down. So there's my one shot. I got to put up the 198 and shock him. And that's what I've got to do. So that's my thing. And there's only a handful of players who are going to be solid every week. And Brendan's got 3 of them in the 2 quarterbacks and CeeDee Lamb. And so there's no doubt that he's going to be big numbers. So I have one shot and just having lots of touchdowns and some crazy AJ Brown 4 touchdown day or something like that. So that's my one shot. As far as the other game, again, if Alex was more healthy, it would be an easy pick. But I'm going to say Red puts up 123 this week. Alex gets out of the doldrums and puts up 124, and Alex wins it.
Okay.
So
okay, Brendan,
then
what do you got?
Then Brad will have his winning streak broke against the Boy Docs Mafia. So that's what I'm thinking.
No, Brendan, go ahead.
Yeah. So I guess for my matchup, I think I was telling Scott this like last week. Basically, and I said this in the chat like weeks ago, you're going to need to put up 170 to have a shot at beating my team right now. Like that's where things are at. That's just the facts. I'm going to have basically 2 to 4 players blow up for more than 20 points every week. So I just don't know who that's going to be. That like they kind of all take their turn. So in order to get the dub, you're going to have to put up 170 and hope it's 2 that put up 20. And hope for the best from your own team. And, if you can put up 170 and beat me, so be it. But I think my team is good for a floor of 150. And, the ceiling is obviously above 200. So we'll see how it goes.
I've got 2 things to respond. I know you other people want to respond, but I got 2 things for you, Brendan. 1, can I remind you injuries happen? You still have a week or 2 to have injuries happen. And 2, you saw what happened in the NFL this last week. 10-3, 17-4, stupid scores. Under.
And I still put up 179 points. It didn't matter.
Okay.
I had Dak Prescott put up 5, and I still scored 179.
Alex,
so yeah,
give me something in return, Alex.
Saying.
As far as what? Who I think will win?
Wait.
What you're hearing from Brendan?
I want to hear Brendan's pick in the other game.
Oh yeah.
Give me the bread, man. I want the bread. Give me the bread. I don't want to beat anybody else in the championship.
I respect that.
Come for the king. Best don't miss.
100%.
All right, Alex. What do you got?
All right. I don't know. Yeah, Brendan, I think, has really the team to beat. You look at the offseason acquisitions, Purdy's QB4, Kamara's RB3, Ingram was tight end 6, and Kupp's wide receiver 24, but he's been good the last few weeks. So, when you add that talent to already a pretty solid base with, Dak and CD, it's going to be tough to beat. But, I guess I can't focus on him right now. It's all focuses on the bread.
Well, let's say you could. Let's say you
were
were playing Brendan this week, and let's say you were totally healthy. Every one of your top players was healthy. Do you think you win?
Oh, absolutely.
All right.
Yeah. High scoring affair, but
I think it'd be a great matchup nonetheless. I think you got to put up 180 to win that matchup, at least.
Which he was doing all year before he got hurt. So fair enough.
Yep.
Ryan, any words?
Okay, so one thing, I'm going to prompt our second guest to join here in a second. But here are my predictions, okay? And just a couple comments on all this nonsense that's been spewed out in the last few minutes. Here's what I predict. I am predicting next week for a Boydock Bowl in the 3rd place game. in the third. The Boy Dogs will
Where'd I
we'll
go
meet
to?
in the third place game, and they can duke it out for the whatever it is, $75 on the line there, and the big boys will be in the championship. I agree with Brendan. I think it will be us too. In the finals, and here's my only thing for Brendan. I respect your performances so far this year in the regular season, but this is unprecedented territory for you, Brendan, in the playoffs. I mean, here's just being honest. Here's your biggest challenge is, these past 10 years, for me going to the playoffs every single season, I don't have a holiday season. I don't get to celebrate Christmas or New Year's. I have to I'm going to work. I'm working OT. I'm working 60, 70-hour weeks. And you're gonna have to, and you don't know that. You've got to have Christmas with your family, with your girl these last few years. And this year you don't get to do it. And how is that gonna affect your lineup decisions and just your motivation for your team? We'll have to stay tuned. But yeah, I'm ready to see what's up. Oh, looks
I'm ready.
like
Yeah. I just want to say I'm ready to start a trend of when I make the playoffs, I win the championship. Let's put it that way.
Fair enough. Hey, welcome to the DCs. And I've got it on good authority that deep diving with the DCs may or may not make a comeback in the next few weeks. Can you confirm or deny?
Yeah, special announcement right away. We'll just go off the top. So the two finalists will have the great privilege of being on deep diving with the DCs next Wednesday night. So forget about the trophy, forget about the money, but the opportunity to go back to deep diving with the DCs, that's what you have to play for this week. I know you're all looking forward to it.
It's as good as a trophy, my son. They all agree. Hey,
yeah, best show this league has ever had.
But hey, while we got you, we're going to put you on the spot. Cody joined about 20 minutes ago. We put him on the spot. Number one. Ready?
Yep.
How do you feel about the Brock Purdy trade? How do you feel about the Tyreek Hill, Trevor Lawrence trade? How do you feel about trades overall this season? Any comment?
Here's what I think. I think the DCs are in just amazing position to win the league next year. I know things didn't work out this season, but next year and probably for the next, 50 plus years afterwards, like I think it's just going to be the dynasty champions left and right, consistently first place, always having the trophy, regardless of if we make trades or not. So you guys can make all the trades you want, but it's really just going to come down to the DCs pulling it off each and every year.
I don't know how to respond. Okay, let's move on. So who do you think is going to win both games this week in the Final Four?
Well, the thing is, I really don't have much good to say about any of the teams. I'm probably more so looking forward to the Toilet Bowl the following week, just to see who will get some waffles. But I don't know. I just checked before hopping on the call here, and I'll start with the Beast. I mean, the Beast continue to make questionable lineup decisions. I don't know what they're doing, starting 3 running backs. Like if it was possible to start 0 running backs, I'd probably do that and just go with like a 7 receiver set. But I don't know. The Beast got Eckler and Henry in there and Hubbard. Maybe that'll change, but man, it hurts to see T and London and Jordan Addison on the bench. So I don't know. We'll see if that pays off for the Beast, but then and kind of moving down the list. Oh my goodness. You kind of have the opposite problem. It's like, who can you put in your lineup that is playing? Like I just, it's kind of a bummer, for the Green Machine. I wouldn't want to be Allison if AP loses this week. Oh my goodness, they might have the baby early. Like the stress that Allison's gonna feel from Alex is just gonna be oh man, an office rocker, that's for sure. But it just seems he may not even have Jalen Hurts is gonna play, but he's barely done anything last couple of weeks. But Brendan, you could probably use some of Mr. B's receivers if he's not gonna play him. So if there's a way to make some trades, like goodness gracious, like Keenan. I mean, even if Keenan plays, it's like no one's throwing to him. Godwin's hurt. No one's throwing to Garrett Wilson. And you have no experience, Brendan. I mean, the reality is you might have the home field advantage. I don't know what your home court is called, but I don't know, it's probably going to be empty stands. Beast might just come rolling in. Rye bread. First of all, I just want to say, I thought this link was a link to I was told this was a Larry Flint's fashion show and I was going to be a judge for it. So a little disappointed that I have to see all your faces instead, but that's all right. Rye bread, your team just you just get lucky every time. Every time you need something, it happens. I don't understand it. You're the commissioner, so you get what you want, you rig it. But say every game within like 5 points, you just seem to win every time. So I would appreciate if you end up losing by like a point this week or less. I think that'd make everybody happy. But yeah, those are my thoughts. Honestly, if there's a way for all you to kind of get your butt kicked, I don't know. I wish there's a way for that to happen.
Are you done with this rant? Because I've got a real question for you.
I'm good. All
right. So I just thought of this. So I was in Vegas when they announced the bowl series, and I was arguing like crazy. FSU did not belong when I was in Vegas before they announced it to different people in Vegas, in poker rooms and sports books. Let me ask you this, Dynasty Champions. That's a great name, by the way. It's so fitting. But do you think we should actually take a vote and remove Alex's team from this Final Four? Because frankly, he has no shot against any of the other three, just like FSU. Do you think we should remove him right now tonight?
The logic holds up. I see where you're with it. I see the comparisons.
Would you do it?
And we could put
Chris.
Who's deserving?
Chris.
Oh man,
not after that 118-point week. He's not.
Yeah. Remember, I beat Chris by 27 earlier this year.
Well, then I'll go back to my Mike Vick in a box love. Anybody but Alex, because he's got a team that cannot win right now.
I think Mike Vick in a box makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I'd give it to him. Yeah, I'm on board, Koalas. If Florida State gets the boot, then makes sense for the Green Machine to get the boot.
Why would you put him in? Doesn't he not have a quarterback to start? Except for Kyler and Joe Flacco. You really want to see Joe Flacco?
Hey, if there is I think Cleveland Brown's good Super Bowl sleeper. To be honest, Flacco wants to play like he did last week.
So hey, I got to cut you off. I got to keep this thing moving. Brendan, back to you. Let's talk about the new guy, Austin Thomas. Let's talk about Patrick a little bit. Like, do you see any hope for either one of those teams, Brendan, moving forward?
Patrick, maybe if he can draft a quarterback and hit on one that's not Drake May or Caleb Williams, because he's probably not going to get either one of them in the lottery.
Right.
So he better hope that like Jalen Daniels pans out. Maybe he's got some hope there because he does have some talent at receiver with Debo and Chase. But Austin Thomas we talk about the Beast team being a nursing home. He's got Russell Wilson over there. He's got Ezekiel Elliott over there. DK Metcalf's not getting any younger. So I don't know if there's a light at the end of the tunnel for Austin. He's going to have to figure out a way to cut salary again. He's got a lot of expensive players. It's not. I don't like where his team's at. I'd much rather be in Patrick's shoes and be getting younger and better at the right positions.
Right. Ryan, any word on Shin Wu? Is he still even around? Did he know he was in the playoffs?
Man, I'm worried about Shinwoo, you guys. We're worried about Shinwoo. Will we get a repeat of 2019 Shinwoo in 2024 in the next rookie draft? We'll have to stay tuned and find out. But you know, Shinmu has some talented players, but I mean, I'd like to hear maybe Mr. Beast's thoughts on Shinmu's general like collapse halfway through the season this year. What'd you think about that, Beasts?
Well, that was crazy. Like the thing I like about Shinwoo's team, if you go position by position, he has studs and they're young and it's like going to be great. But then that's it. He's got those 9 starters and then that's it. And when they start not performing or they get hurt, he's done. And that's what happened. And it got very, bare right there for points for him for a long time. And then he actually, I was actually worried about this last week because he put up like 176 or something against me, like second to last game of the season. And then he went back to being normal. So that was good. But, no, he's got a nice base, but he needs to keep building. And that's what can happen with a team like that, where it's basically 9 deep.
Let me
Alex. Yeah, go ahead.
let me ask the heroes a question. Bren, what do you think about Scott's choice of black and white for today's video call?
What do I think of his choice of black and white?
The black and white video.
I don't know, man. I think he's trying to go for some kind of like film noir look, make the DC seem like some kind of sophisticated, fancy team. When in reality, they've made the playoffs one time as well, and that was like as a 5th or 6th seed, barely. In order to make the playoffs, he also traded like 4 first-round picks for Dalvin Cook. So for a franchise that's got a lot to say, they don't have a lot to show for it. So I think it might be time for the DCs to hang up on this call.
There's a couple false statements there. First of all, we've made the playoffs more than once. Second of all, we were going to make the playoffs regardless. It was just to help get us over the top, get first place. But obviously,
it really got you over the top.
But it did not. Those trades did not get us into the playoffs. The team was highly touted as it was without the trades. But
by over the top, did you mean like crest the hill and then fall off the cliff?
Well, hey, the good news is for the DCs is that this is the last year we don't have our own first round pick. So, in the clear again next year.
When was the last time you made the playoffs? Was it like 2019 or something like that? Is that when you traded like 4 firsts?
It would have been that year. Yeah.
I think he's
all right.
5 and 37 since that
2020.
year.
2020.
Hey, I just got to say.
Yeah, so 2020.
Back to the black and white and Scott's video. The last time we did video draft picks in 2021, or I guess 2022, Scott won the Oscar for best movie that year. So I think the black and white has to be like a trademark because he brings good film to the league.
That's right.
That's what he has to
logo too.
And then right.
It's the official
colors.
That's really what it is. This is the color scheme of my logo. Yeah. No, I appreciate that.
And the one last thing is, seriously, what would your stadium be named if you had your home stadium?
Okay. Well, I was fine with the playground, but then your description of it was just very, very sad. So we can't go with that.
We can call it the empty trophy cabinet.
The cabinet.
The cabinet.
No, we'll put some thought to that, but we can say it's in progress. Currently it's just a play, but I think it could turn into more than a playground.
The playground.
Since you deep dive with the DCs, we can call it the aquarium.
There we go.
That would be all right.
I think we're going to rebrand at some point.
Where my opponents.
Little rebrand.
No rebrand for the Dynasty Champions are that name is sticking.
It's iconic and so realistic.
Not
Cody,
going
what about
anywhere.
you? You going to keep your name?
Yeah, we'll keep it for a while, but I think we're going to consider all options and maybe the peninsula of misfit toys as we rebuild here. So or the isthmus or something of the sort. So
Perhaps a
we'll
fjord one year. Who knows?
yeah, there you go. We'll mix that up. I got to get into the graphic design world and come up with something better than a stock image photo on the interwebs. So we'll that's on the list this off season, among many things, including getting better. So that would be great.
Ryan, what do you got to sum it all up?
Well, I guess I'll make a quick note as commish. Speaking of logos, right? We all have our official logos will be due by the start of next season. So as we know, teams like the Heroes have an official logo. The Beasts pretty much have an official logo. Several other teams have, of course, Austin D may have the most iconic logo in the league right now. But the rest of us, the DCs, myself, Green Machine, we're gonna want to get that official, nice, good quality logo going for the start of next season. So that's my note.
Well, speak for yourself.
Yeah, okay. So AB, I have a message to you. Let's turn the camera a little bit. You see this bad boy right here? This is where Chris was in there last week. He's just a little
Games played in the
Little
barn
fried.
now.
This is where you're going, Alex. Get a nice look. Get a nice look.
It's not on.
We're gonna turn
Is
that
it
up, babe.
preheating?
Oh yeah, we're preheating right now, and it's gonna be hot. It's getting hot in there, AB.
Gotcha.
I
I'm
hope we're
sweating.
ready. I hope the medical staff's working OT right now because it's coming. The oven.
Well, good luck to all four of you for real. I hope you all have healthy games. May the best teams win. And I plan on attacking the two losing teams in the newsletter soon afterwards.
Yep.
See you in the championship, Ryan.
Copy that.
No, let's go
No
Beasts.
chance.
All right. See you guys.
Good luck,
Good
everyone.
luck, everybody.
Bye.
Good luck.
Adios.